All right, guys, today we're going to talk about 10, yes, 10 affordable alternatives to some of your popular fragrances. Stay tuned. So, if you're new to the channel, guys, welcome. Drop a like, subscribe if you love perfume, fragrance, cologne related content. We're doing weekly uploads at this point on YouTube. I'm also on TikTok and Instagram. You can follow me there at EnterTheFragrance. Yes, EnterTheFragrance, all one word. But we're going to get into this list. Now, guys, this list is in no particular order. We're just going to talk about 10, yes, 10 affordable alternatives to some popular fragrances you might have or that have been on your radar previously. Starting out with the first fragrance. If you love that Le Male Les Parfums DNA, that powdery iris vanilla, this is a fantastic take. Honestly, it's not one-to-one, but they do a great job and a great interpretation. And that's Klage Experience 25. Yes, Klage Experience in the black bottle. You're going to pick up some of that powderiness, some vanilla. Now, I get about 6 to 7 hours longevity with this fragrance personally. Not a beast mode fragrance by any means, but if you want something in that $30 ballpark to get you to that DNA, this is a definite must try, must buy. And again, that's Klage Experience 25. Now, this one on discounters goes for about $50. And in my opinion, it's worth a buy. Speaking of Le Male, if you love the honey, lavender, mint style fragrance of the elixir, this gets pretty dang close. And that's Club de Nuit, Lionheart for Men. Yes, Club de Nuit, Lionheart for Men. You pick up the honey, you pick up the lavender. Great sillage with this fragrance. I've turned a lot of people on at work to this fragrance. I get about 10 hours performance like every other Club de Nuit, and it smells about 92, 93-ish% similar. It's a must-have, must-buy, so I don't have to use my original Le Male. I'm running low, I need another bottle, but nonetheless, for $40 to $50, this is a great alternative. I think it beats out a lot of the other ones, and that's Club de Nuit Lionheart for Men. All right, and this is probably the most under the radar fragrance I purchased, and I purchased it by accident. However, for $15, this does a fantastic job, at least on my skin. It almost smells one-to-one. And what it's inspired by is Sauvage. Now, I have the EDP of Sauvage, and this gets pretty darn close, and that's Afnan's Modest Un. Yes, Modest Un by Afnan. Side by side, 2 or 3 other people couldn't tell the difference on my skin. And for $15 to $18, if you want that Sauvage DNA, smells of high quality, how they do it for $18, I have no idea. But it's a definite must try, must buy, in my opinion. And again, that's Modest Un by Afnan. Now, who's a fan of Aqua de Jo, specifically the Profondo, the salty marine aquatic fragrance? Now, personally, it comes off too salty on my skin. So the next fragrance is half the price, if not more, and smells better than Profondo in my opinion. And that's going to be Chrome Extreme. Yes, Chrome Extreme, probably the most underrated chrome flanker in my opinion. It's mineralic, it's a touch salty, aquatic, fresh, clean, masculine, very mass appealing in my experience with this fragrance, and top 3 in the chrome line next to the aqua flanker and the pure flanker. But solid fragrance for about $40. I picked this up on discounters for about $40. And again, that's Chrome Extreme by Azzaro. Now, lemon and vodka. Lemon vodka mint is kind of what you're going to get with this fragrance, the vibe it gives off. The presentation says it all. And the next fragrance is Paris Corners Moscow Mule. Yes, Moscow Mule Now, it's a zingy, citrus, minty style fragrance. In that same ballpark is Killian Blue Moon Ginger Dash, great atomizer. Now, on the opening, this has a little more mint. However, as it dries down on skin, side by side, you really can't tell a difference. I mean, you really got to dig deep. And in the air, smells identical. And that's Paris Corner's offering Moscow Mule. Now, are you looking for Penhaligon's Halfeti, but beast mode? Now, from my understanding, this is a 30+% oil concentration, and on skin smells near identical, plus longer lasting. And this is the newest release, and that's Rahan Tiger. Yes, Rahan Tiger, the Cal Cologne edition. You're gonna get about 10 hours performance with this, if not more. Great atomizer. Very dark, masculine, rough style fragrance. Now, what I mean by that is this encapsulates masculinity. I believe there's some woods in here, some other notes, possibly some incense. Now, personally, is it my favorite fragrance? No, but if you're into that Penhaligon's, Halfeti, cedarwood style fragrances, this is a must try in my opinion. And that's Rahan Tiger. Now, personally, this is one of my favorites from the Klage line. Now, this has been getting a lot of hate lately. I don't understand why. But Le Boule Parfum is usually very difficult to find in the United States. So I opt for this one. Now, Glacier Bold by Maison Alhambra is another great alternative. I have that one. But I'm going to have to go Klage Island. Yep, Klage Island. Kind of a tropical burst of fruits. I believe there's some iris in this one. I mean, to Le Boule Parfum smells dang near identical. You're going to get that dark, nuanced version of the original Le Boule, just amped up. You're going to pick up some coconut. Fantastic tropical fragrance, in my opinion, perfectly unisex. And for about 30 to 40 so dollars, could you beat it? Again, that's Klage Island. All right, guys, we're going to go back to the house of Rahan. Yes, Rahan and Klage have been knocking it out of the park. Lattafa was always known. Lattafa Armaf, known as some of the best houses for alternatives and affordable fragrances. But Rahan has been knocking it out of the park, specifically with this one, Rahan Lion. Yes, Rahan Lion. Now, Lattafa came out with one called ROM Silver, okay? So ROM Silver had that pear note versus 9 p.m., which used an apple note. 9 p.m. was stronger, but I preferred ROM Silver until this one came out. So this one, in my opinion, is better than Ultramall. I said it, better than Ultramall. Longer lasting, it doesn't smell as synthetic to my nose, and I got a ton of compliments when I wore it last. And that fragrance is Rahan Lion. And everybody seems to be on the hunt for YSL Baby Cat. Yes, Baby Cat, harder to find on discounters, pretty pricey for what you get in my opinion, but this does a damn good job of what it's supposed to do. And that's Rafet by Paris Corner. Yes, Rafet by Paris Corner. You're going to get some LME, pink pepper, black pepper. I believe there's some saffron in here. A big dose of vanilla. Now, some people are going to say this smells like burning tires. I've heard that before. Nonetheless, this is a fantastic fragrance. Do I wear it often? No. I leave this to like special occasions and night outs. I wouldn't rock this casually, but nonetheless, it's a great, affordable alternative if you like that baby cat DNA. And that's Rafet by Paris Corner. Now, guys, this one's going to be a little bit higher in price point. It's from an indie house that doesn't get much love, I feel like, on all social media platforms. Now, I think I paid about $90 US for this fragrance. I don't know if it's still in stock. Like I said, I'll try and link all these fragrances down below. But this is similar to an older batch of Creed Aventus in that same ballpark. And that's called The King by New Bottles Company. Yes, New Bottles Company, The King, even says 2018 on the back. This is the closest to that DNA that you're going to get. Heavy on the black currant, heavy on the birch, smells identical to my 2019 bottle of Credaventus. For $90, is it worth it? Should you get Club de Nuit Man Intense or let's say Rahan Imperia, for instance? Maybe, but if you got a little bit extra money to spend and you want more quality, I would check out New Bottles Company. And again, that fragrance is called The King. Great presentation. All right, and this is a new one that was just added to my collection. I was shocked when I smelt it. Now, what it reminds me of, it's kind of in that same ballpark as Queening by Mind Games, and it's got somewhat similar notes and accords to it. And that's going to be Banana Republic Orris Vanille. Yes, Orris Vanille by Banana Republic. Powdery, vanilla, subtle iris. One of my favorite new additions to the collection, just an unbelievable scent profile. And like I said, you're going to get Queening vibes without the Mind Games name. But I believe this runs a little bit higher than most cheap alternatives. I think this runs in the ballpark about $80 to $90. I'd have to double check. But again, that's Orris Vanille by Banana Republic. All right, and this is an alternative to a discontinued fragrance. Yes, a discontinued fragrance. Now, the House of Gucci has put out tons of hits, specifically Pour Homme, Envy, Pour Homme 2, tons, which I'm disappointed because Gucci Pour Homme 2 is my favorite fragrance of all time next to Envy. But FragranceBuy.ca has their own house brand called Fomo. Yes, F-O-M-O, the House of Fomo. And this is one of many offerings from the house. And that is the Envy of Fomo by Fomo. Now, this is a parfum concentration. It gets about 85% similar, I'd say, to that Gucci Envy DNA. It's a classic masculine, everyday barbershop fougere style fragrance. I believe there's some carnation in here. I could be wrong, but it's going to give you that old school aftershave, barbershop-y style fragrance vibe, if you know what I'm talking about. But for 30 bucks, I mean, you can't beat it. And if you ever wanted to smell Gucci Envy and never had the chance to, I think this is a great alternative. And that's the Envy of Fomo by Fomo. Now, this is a new house I've been introduced to. And I'm glad I have, because I have about 8 or 9 fragrances from this house. And you see commercials all the time about it. And you question, are they good fragrances? So I bought 5, 6, 7, 8 of them, whatever it might be. And this is one of my favorites. Now, Lost Cherry, not great performance. But this one from the House of Okja, Sinful. Sinful by Okja, a fantastic alternative. Very strong, very loud. Sillage, projection, all fantastic. See that pressurized atomizer? Yeah, good stuff. Now the bottles are very tiny, but they still are 50 ml bottles. I don't know if you can read that there, but yep, they're still 50 ml bottles. Fantastic juice, quality for the price point. I think I paid about $30 for this fragrance. Now, another fragrance I would look into from the brand as a bonus is Yukio. Yukio is a very good sweet fragrance. Kind of like BR 540 with Credaventus, but nonetheless, fantastic cherry fragrance. Must have, must try, and that's Okja's Sinful.